Are you ready for an adventure on Route 66? The main street of America, the Mother Road, Bloody 66, it goes by many names, but no matter what you call it, Route 66 holds a unique place in American history. It is one of the first roadways to lay the foundation for what became America's interstate highway system, and perhaps the most famous roadway in America. But nowhere did it seem to impact America more than with its unique and enduring selection of roadside attractions. Kitschy little oddities that sprang up all along its length still fascinate fans the world over. And did you know that Illinois was the first to pave its segment of Route 66? And that's where we are starting today, on what's left of the historic route between St. Louis and Chicago, with just a sneak peek at some of the last remaining roadside oddities left on Route 66. Our adventure begins just east of the mighty Mississippi River, which is also the Illinois-Missouri border, in a small town called Collinsville. Located just south of Route 66, you can find the world's largest ketchup bottle. It was the water tower for the former Brooks Ketchup Factory. Built in 1949, the ketchup bottle itself is 70 feet tall and 25 feet wide at the base. And while the building is no longer used as a ketchup factory, its history lives on as a unique roadside attraction. Further into Illinois on the Old Road is a unique place that is hard to miss. Literally just steps away from historic US Route 66 is the Pink Elephant Antique Store in Livingston, Illinois. It has quite the collection of kitsch antiques for you to come take a look at. This place is filled with oddities, like a giant tricycle, UFOs, chipmunks, a giant ice cream cone, a giant holding an ice cream cone, an actual pink elephant, of course, and this guy. And if that's not enough, head inside the building that used to be the town's high school to see and shop for all manner of antiques and collectibles. If antiques are what you're after, then you'll hit the mother lode on the Mother Road at the Pink Elephant. After a healthy dose of nostalgia, it's time to head on down the road again. If you want to experience some real history of this old road, follow the historic path through Auburn, Illinois, and you'll find this. An actual brick-paved segment of Route 66, and you can even still drive on it. Here we go. Gosh, I can't imagine why they don't pave roads in brick anymore. It's so smooth. And so quiet. Rolling through Springfield. Woohoo! Well, not that Springfield. This one is the Illinois State Capitol. Huh, that guy looks familiar. And here in Lincoln, Illinois, is of course a giant Abraham Lincoln. Of course! Riding a giant covered wagon. Of course. Because that was a history class I must have missed.
You really should read more.
According to the Guinness Book of World Records, this is the world's largest covered wagon. What are you doing? Are you sneaking up on Daddy's film? Here we are in Atlanta, Illinois. Look at this guy proudly hoisting his hot dog behind me. This is Tall Paul. He's new to the area, but not Route 66. Paul used to stand in front of a hot dog joint on Route 66 in Cicero, Illinois, until it closed in 2003. He was then relocated to Atlanta, where he proudly stands today. And in true Chicago style, his hot dog is ketchup-free. While you're here, check out some of the Route 66 shops and museums in Atlanta. But before you leave, be sure to stop by the Palms Girl Cafe for a slice of pie. You won't regret it. Further up the road on our kitschy road trip, flirting with the edges of Chicagoland, is Wilmington, Illinois. Let's see what we can find here. What the heck is this? The Gemini Giant? Why does he look so familiar? If you haven't figured it out yet, these guys all have something in common. These men are a roadside oddity known as the Muffler men. It was a series of fiberglass men built by International Fiberglass in Venice, California. Notice how his right hand is facing up and his left hand faces downward? He has a decent grip on that rocket ship. But how about our friend in Atlanta? Seems an awkward way to hold a hot dog. That's because his hands were originally designed to hold a lumberjack's axe. Back when Route 66 was really hitting its stride, International Fiberglass was cranking out these muffler men all across the nation. Most businesses would then customize them to fit their needs, whether they are lumberjacks, pirates, Indians, or in this case, spacemen. The Gemini Giant here is considered the most famous of all the muffler men and an icon for Route 66 in Illinois. Look at the size of this guy! I barely make it up to his parts. He was bought in the late 60s for $3,500. That's about 26 grand in today's money as an advertisement for the Launching Pad restaurant here in Wilmington, Illinois. Sadly, the restaurant recently closed, leaving this big guy here gazing down this old road toward an uncertain future. This here is Route 66 in Cicero, now known as Ogden Avenue. And behind me is a restaurant that our friend Tall Paul used to stand in front of. Remember the guy with the giant hot dog? Sadly, Tall Paul had to move along, and this place doesn't sell hot dogs anymore. But if you absolutely must have yourself a giant hot dog, head right on down the road to Henry's Hot Dogs. They've got the biggest wiener around. And their hot dogs ain't bad either. They even satisfied this picky eater.
Been try?
Well, here it is, the end of Route 66 in Chicago. The end of our story of giant ketchup bottles, huge hot dogs, and the muffler men of Illinois and Route 66. Or is it just the beginning of a different story? There are many tales to be told in this old road, so keep on watching. Maybe we can tell some more on a future adventure in Great America. But wait, I know what you're thinking. What does all this have to do with Great America, the theme park? Well, Great America is not just a bunch of thrill rides. Great America, the theme park, was built as a reflection of the spirit of America, a family-friendly place to experience the unique history and culture of every corner of these United States. And I hope to share some of that spirit on my adventures with you. But don't worry, we'll have plenty of chances to visit the theme park. Is that enough for you? No. Okay, I'll give you this one. If you're traveling towards Six Flags Great America from Chicago on I-94, as I know most of you do, take a glance out of your passenger side window as you're passing the Rockland exit. Does this guy look familiar? There he is, another one of those wacky muffler men. This one has been a resident of a park known as Lamb's Farm since the late 60s. So there you go, your Route 66 to Six Flags connection. So thanks again for joining me on yet another adventure. And remember, I love to learn, so feel free to comment below. And if you want to join me some more, you can subscribe. And I hope to see you again next time. Goodness, Sarah, look at the Santa.
I know.
He sees you while you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Places, people. Door sound.